Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. This is Pet Crochets. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to crochet this beautiful lacy summer headband. To start, we're going to grab our 1.9mm hook. And for today's project, I'm going to be using a category 3 weight cotton yarn. I chose this yarn because it's thin enough that the headband won't be too thick and it'll allow for the lace pattern to show up beautifully. So to start, we're going to do a slip knot. I like to wrap the yarn twice around my finger, pull the back loop over the top loop, and then the top loop over the back loop again. And it creates this nice little loop for us. We're going to place it on the hook and tighten. And now we're going to be making foundation single crochet stitches. I like to start with this type of stitch. It avoids having to do the foundation chain first and then going to do the single crochet row. So to start, we're going to do a chain up of 2. Then we're going to be inserting our hook into that first stitch, making sure to grab the front and back loops. We're going to pull up a loop, and now we have 2 loops. We're going to yarn over, pull through the first loop, which is our foundation, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops, which would be the single crochet stitch. Now we'll always be working into this V stitch in the back there, closest to the yarn. So we're going to insert our hook again, making sure to grab both loops. We're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the top, which is the foundation, and then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops on our hook, which would be the single crochet stitch. Then we can tighten. I'm going to show you one more time. We're going to insert our hook into the V in the back, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the top, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. And this is how you do a foundation single crochet stitch. So we're going to do that for a total of 107 stitches for our headband. Now for row 2, we're going to chain up 3 and turn our work. Remember that the first stitch is connected to this chain 3, so we don't count that. We're going to work into the next 2 stitches here. And we're going to be doing an unfinished double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and instead of finishing the double crochet, we're going to yarn over again and go into the following stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to finish the double crochet by yarning over and pulling through the remaining 3 loops. We're going to do a chain up of 5. Okay, now we're going to skip a stitch and we're going to do this unfinished double crochet into the following 3 stitches. So we pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and instead of finishing, we're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to do it one more time. We're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then finish the double crochet by yarning over and pulling through all 4. Okay, now we're going to repeat the pattern. I'm going to show it one more time. So we're going to do a chain up of 5. We're skipping that next stitch, and into the next 3 stitches, we're going to be doing the unfinished double crochet. So you're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and then one last time, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to finish the double crochet by yarning over and pulling through all 4. Oh, there's Naru. She has been jumping on this ottoman. This is her favorite ottoman, and I just want to do a change background and she just wasn't having it. Don't worry guys, she is actually going to the groomers tomorrow, so she won't look as crusty in the next videos. And there she goes. Okay, now back to the video. We made it to our last 4 stitches, so we're going to do what we did in the beginning. We're going to skip a stitch, and now we're going to do the unfinished double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Not into the next 3, into the next 2, just like we did in the beginning. So we're going to the second one. If you notice, I accidentally put an extra single crochet foundation stitch, so we're going to ignore that. Okay, into the last stitch, we're going to be doing just a regular double crochet. When you finish that double crochet, this is what you should have. Okay, and then we're going to be ready for row 3. The beginning and the ends of this row should look the same. They'll be a little bit different from the pattern in the middle. Now to start row 3, we're going to chain up 3 and turn our work. We're going to be adding a double crochet into that first stitch right there on top of the previous double crochet. We're going to do a chain up of 2, and into the space here we're just going to be doing a single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to chain up 5. And into that next space right there where we did the chain number 5 previous, we're going to do a single crochet. So for that, you just put your hook through, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. And then we repeat the pattern where we chain up 5 and then put a single crochet into each of those spaces right there. Okay, when you do the last single crochet into that last chain up of 5, there's Naru again. Okay, so when we do that last single crochet, we're going to do what we did in the beginning. So we're going to chain up 2, and we're going to be adding a double crochet on top of that double crochet space there. And then one last double crochet on the top of that chain 3, that turning chain right there. Might be a little bit tricky to get your hook into. So that first chain, or rather the last chain in that chain of 3. And that would be the end of row 3. This is what you should have so far. The beginning and the ends of the lace should look the same. Start row 4, we're going to do a chain up of 3 and turn our work. To begin this row, we're going to be placing 2 double crochets into the top of this double crochet space, so into the next stitch right there, the first stitch. Remember, we don't count that very first stitch because that's connected to the chain 3. So into that following stitch, we're going to be putting 2 double crochets. It's the second double crochet. Okay, now we chain 1, and then we're going to count up 3 from this chain of 5. So into that third stitch, or the middle of this arch here, we're going to be placing 3 double crochets. So here's my first double crochet. Make sure to grab the front and the back loop. My second double crochet going into that same stitch in the middle of that arch, and then one last double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to chain up 1 and we're going to repeat the pattern. So you're going to be placing 3 double crochets into the third chain of this chain up of 5. So right in the middle there. You want to grab both the front and the back loops. So there's 1 double crochet, back into that stitch we're going to put another one, and then 1 last double crochet right back into that same stitch. To finish, we're going to chain 1 and continue the pattern. when we do that last set of 3 double crochets into the middle of the arch, we're going to do the same thing we did in the beginning. We're going to be putting 2 double crochets into the top of that double crochet space. And then as usual, we're going to finish off by putting 1 double crochet in the top of that turning chain of 3. So right there, we're going to put our last double crochet. Okay, we pretty much finished the lace. Now we're just going to be adding 1 row of single crochet. So to do that, we're going to do a chain of 1 and then turn our work. And then into the very next stitch, we're going to be putting in our hook, pulling up a loop, yarning over and pulling through 2 for a single crochet. And we're just going to be single crocheting into every single stitch all the way down. And that will be our final row for this lace pattern. Make sure to get your hook into every single stitch. Some of these stitches might be a little bit more difficult to get your hook into. So continue this all the way down and I'll meet you back on the other side. Okay, so this is what the lace should look like. Now it's all done. We're going to join the 2 ends together, make sure that the headband isn't twisted. And now we're going to bring the 2 pieces together and seam up the sides. So you're going to put your hook into the stitch on the opposite side in the corner. And we're going to do slip stitch. We're just going to put our hook through and pull the yarn all the way through. And now we're going to put our hook into both sides and we're going to be doing single crochets all the way down to join the 2 sides together. Make sure you're putting your hook into both the front and the back panels, and also make sure that you're putting the stitches kind of evenly spaced out. Doesn't really matter where you put your hook in, you just want to make sure that the stitches are fairly even. And this will bring our 2 sides together nicely. I like to do single crochets when I'm joining the seams because I find that it's more secure. Okay, I'm going to be placing 1 last single crochet here and kind of fixing my extra stitch mistake from earlier right here by tucking it in and kind of making that single crochet extra tight. Okay, and now we are all done. So in order to cut the yarn, we're going to do a chain above 1 and then we're going to leave a tail long enough to weave in. Now you're just going to pull through and tighten, and we're going to weave these 2 ends here into that seam. And this is what your headband should look like when all the ends are woven in. And that's it. Very simple, just 4 rows. That concludes this tutorial for the lacy summer headband. This headband is really quick and easy to make. It's only 4 rows. It took me about half an hour. You can definitely experiment with different types of yarn, make it in a bunch of different colors. You can add more rows if you'd like to make a thicker headband. I just think it's the perfect elevated look and it makes for a wonderful gift. If you're interested in the matching top, I made a top using the same lace pattern for the straps. Please check out my channel. It's called the Cleo Summer Top. I also just want to say a quick thank you to all of my subscribers and everyone who has been supporting me. I just reached 100 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who watches my videos. I'll have a lot more tutorials coming very soon, and I'm excited to share this journey with you all. Bye everyone!